Hello there. So this is carrying on from last week's about barriers to entry for doing this and why you wouldn't suffer from that if you had a franchise of ours. So the last thing I talked about was collecting payments from customers. So all this really is based on, do you want to do this seriously? And what I specifically mean by do you want to do it seriously is, do you want to earn a constant, good living out of this job? Now, if you do, that's when everything gets serious. So you're realistically talking about hundreds of customers, thousands of cleans a year, thousands, and realistically thousands of payments as well. So now there are other ways of collecting money apart from how we do it, but as we have done with every single aspect of our business, we have looked in minute detail at every single aspect. And we collect numerous payments, and there's a very specific reason for that. And it works like an absolute charm. So the collection, how we collect money is the effort and the success rate of us collecting money is incredibly high. So years back, we did used to have mainly cash, and realistically, you cannot do this as a serious job and get paid cash. It just simply doesn't work. You will be spending, as I've said before, more time. You'd spend more time collecting half the payments than you ever were cleaning all the bins. It's that simple. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work on any level. So we're obviously moving into big numbers, and that's where the most of these barriers come from, is the numbers, the scale of what you're doing. And a lot of that, it's the devil in the detail. So there isn't one big thing that makes our franchise work so well and our core business work so well. It's a number of really big deals, like our equipment is a big deal. How we organize our customers and our service is a big deal. How we plan our routes is a big deal, including the commercial ones. And how we communicate is a big deal. But as I say, as the numbers increase, then there's these numerous other smaller barriers to entry that are all very important. So a great example of that today is, and I'm sitting on a wet seat here because it is, and it's darker, isn't it, today? I must look dark because it's just been raining all day here. Now, to do this seriously, you've got to go out every day. Yes, okay, you have holidays, and yes, okay, you have sick days. Personally, I can just about remember the last sick day I had, which should have been 5-6 years ago. But that isn't a boast. That's just generally, if you're self-employed, whether you have a franchise or not, you tend to just not have a lot of days off sick. But it does happen, okay. But all that means is your reliability has to be, with this particular type of job, it has to be incredibly high. And realistically, everything we do and we've built into the franchise is based on making us as reliable as possible. So hence why the equipment is so reliable, because you can't always be on point yourself. So the one thing you don't want is anything that you use, equipment, trucks, clothing, it has to be as reliable as you, because there's so many things that can make you unreliable. But luckily, like we've done, there's so many things that you can make reliable if you spend the time doing it. And that's a big barrier to entry when you're doing this on your own, because you don't know they're there until you come across one. And when you come across one, it's a big stumble, because it stops you working, or it seriously slows you down working. And then that's when the snowball of problems hit you, because if you can only clean 50% of your cleans that day, that means you're going to have to contact the remaining 50% of customers. And then what you're going to do, just leave them? Are you not going to clean it? Are you going to clean the day after? The problems are just snowball. So a great example of the detail we go into to help you make a franchise successful is our clothing today. Okay. Apart from now, when I've sat down on a wet seat, I am bone dry. I don't know if you can see, I've been out all day. That's completely bone dry. Sleeves, bone dry. And that's because we don't just have any types of waterproof or protective clothing. We've tested everything. This is the detail we go into to help you be successful, because the reason clothing is essential to your reliability is because you have to be comfortable going out on a day like this when it's raining or cold. So I haven't been cold at all, and it's hovering around 5 or 6 degrees. I have not been cold at all day. So the clothing is incredible, the detail that we've gone into to test stuff. So not only does that include a very specific type of gloves that we wear, and also even down to the type of hats we wear, because, and I'll give you a quick snippet of how in detail we go, is, okay, say you find a waterproof jacket, which I don't think there's many. I mean, I even go walking at a weekend, and I honestly use my work waterproofs, or I have another set for that, to do that. And I've seen so many different types of waterproofs and use them, and these work ones are the only ones that actually keep you dry properly when it's raining. So even down to the hat, because when you're cleaning a bin, you're right-handed or left-handed. Most people will be right-handed. You lead with one part of your body as you're cleaning it, and when you do that, your hood, okay, you're facing that way, but your body's facing that way, so you'll be working at an angle, and your hood moves around here, so you can't see, and it drives you. You just can't do it. So we even have specific types of hats that stop your hood covering you, so that gives you some window view into the detail we've gone into to help us and you as a franchisee be reliable enough, because we have got to a point now where, and you'll do this, we'll help you get to this point as a franchisee, because this is where things really make a big difference, is your customers don't just know what day you're coming, they even get used to what time you're coming. Now, it's incredible that they trust you enough that they know you're going to come on that day. They trust you enough to come at a certain time. So that level of reliability you do not get unless you've done this for a hell of a long time. and continued to try and make things better. So even the clothing is a barrier to entry, because, and here's another interesting bit about the clothing is, so this clothing, I'm pointing to it over here. You won't see it because it's just dark over there, but that'll be dry tomorrow. Now that's a big deal. I don't have to take that home and dry it up. That'll be dry tomorrow. That'll be okay to use. And even down to the things you have in the cab when it's a wet day.